Hi, I'm Max, and welcome to Learn to Washboard Episode 9. In this video, we're going to break it up into two separate sections. In the first half, we're going to take an old plastic suitcase and transform it into a bass drum. Then in the second half, we're going to use this new homemade bass drum and start playing some full drum set rhythms on the washboard, using the bass and the board together. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Any questions, leave them below in the comments feed, and I try to answer everybody. Well, I hope you enjoy. Now, the case is solid plastic. It's a Samsonite, I believe it's a Profile 2 suitcase, but in the 70s and 80s, they made tons of these. And nobody wants them anymore. Nobody except for drummers. They're really easy to find. Flea markets, garage sales, eBay. You don't spend more than $5 or $10 or euros on it because, like I said, they're all over the place, and most people don't want it. But right now, it's just a suitcase. It is not a bass drum. What we need to do is attach a kick drum pedal. Now, this is the actual pedal for a regular bass drum on a drum set. This is a pretty simple, inexpensive Tama pedal. I like it because it easily comes apart and folds. Well, it folds relatively flat, so you can put your pedal, you can put your washboard in your suitcase. Now, on the front of a kick drum pedal is this little clip. You screw this down, and it tightens it on the rim of the bass drum. Well, our suitcase doesn't have a rim. That's what we have to do. We have to attach a little piece of metal. I'll show you what you need to do this project. Let's take a look. It's not a whole lot of stuff. You're going to need a drill, some tape, electrical tape or duct tape. Masking tape will do fine. Pick something, it can get a little bit wet and still stay sticky though. 4 long screws, a block of wood for the inside of the suitcase to screw into, a little spacer block on the outside of the suitcase, and one of these. It's called a mending plate. You can find it in any hardware store. It's in the section where all the hinges are. They come in all different sizes. You go into that aisle and there'll be 100 different ones. Just make sure there's lots of different places to put screws. Make sure it's long enough to get your kick pedal far enough away from your suitcase that it can make a noise. And third, make sure it's thick enough that it's not going to bend. It's not going to break as you're playing. You don't want to be in the middle of your set at Carnegie Hall and your mending plate breaks off. And then this is an extra touch. I just have a small door hinge, just like a random piece of plastic as a spacer, but I put this over the front of the mending plate, and I'm going to wrap it in electrical tape just to make it a little bit thicker, just a little more meat for your kick pedal to grab onto. You can put an extra piece of wood. You could just wrap up 100 times around with duct tape, a thin piece of rubber, maybe slice up an old tube from a bike tire and tape it on there. Just something to give it a little more juice. Well, let's get started and put our kick pedal on our suitcase and make a bass drum. I have the suitcase upside down here. You're going to need a small spacer block because if you put your metal straight to the bottom of the suitcase, it'll rattle a lot and it'll come off at an angle. You see how this is curved a little bit? You want to get that as flat as possible. So I put it up on a block of wood. You don't want to go past this level of the bottom of the suitcase or else it'll rock back and forth. So just make sure your wood is lower than the bottom edge of the suitcase. Measure it out, find the center, take your metal, hold it against your block of wood, draw out 4 of the holes, and pre-drill them first so your wood doesn't split, unless it's plywood, and then it's probably not going to. Once you have this with the holes in it, put a pen through, transfer the holes to the middle of the suitcase, You can see I've already done that here. And then you're pretty much ready to go. I get my 4 screws and just slowly get them started into the block. I don't want to screw them all the way through, but just so the tips are coming out a tiny bit. Now I've already transferred my holes and drilled into my suitcase. I'll take this, just nestle it into those holes, come to the inside, check, it's looking pretty good. There they are. I can go a little bit further even. I just can't quite see the tips. Now I have a block of wood for the inside. And I have my screw tips just poking out on the inside. I can take that wood, I can press it on it so hard that I get 4 little dots to show up on the wood. Take a drill bit, pre-drill those out so that it doesn't split. This has already been pre-drilled. Wedge it into the holes. Hold on tight. And attach it. Not bad. So you have a block of wood on the inside. Feel it, it's nice and firm. And on the outside you have your clip for your bass drum pedal. We're almost there. Remember, I said I like to have a little more meat for it to come onto. This is a random piece of plastic from a box of screws I got at the hardware store. I just snapped it off. I just needed something firm and about that thick. You can find anything you want. You fold up a piece of cardboard. And then just a small door hinge that'll wrap right over the end of that mending plate. Put the plastic in the middle for the spacer. Put the clip over the end. Squeeze it nice and tight. And then wrap the whole thing up with a whole bunch of electrical tape. The clip is on. Let's try to put on our bass drum pedal. Stand it up. Crank it down nice and tight. Pretty good. There you have it. The Suitcase bass drum. Let's put it together with the washboard, do a basic bass drum beat, and see what this thing sounds like. All right, we got it. We got our bass drum. We got our washboard. We got our cymbals. We are ready to start adding some bass drum rhythms to our washboard playing. We're going to start with something simple. In the next few videos, we'll get more and more advanced. But here, we're going to play a standard bass drum pattern called 4 on the floor. You just play the 4 downbeats. 1, 2, 3, 4 on a bass drum. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you play the upbeats, the and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and on the middle of the washboard. Ready? 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So it's going foot, hand, foot, hand, foot, hand, foot, hand. We'll start it slow, and then we'll do it a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Let's pick it up a little bit. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, you get the idea there. We'll do one more basic pattern. Here, we're going to put the accents on the washboard on the 2 and the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4. And we'll play a blues shuffle pattern on the right hand. Bump, 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 bump. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll play the 4 on the floor pattern with the bass drum. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put it all together, nice and slow. Blues shuffle, 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the foot. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I hope you enjoyed yourself today. Good luck making a bass drum for your washboard. I'll play you out with a little bit. You got any questions, leave them in the comments section below. I try to answer everybody. Don't forget to subscribe, because then you'll be informed of all the videos I got coming up. Thanks for coming by. I'll play out a little bit of a blues shuffle pattern. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.